The Chicago Bulls have spent years searching for the missing piece that transforms them from Eastern Conference mediocrity into legitimate playoff contenders. Meanwhile, 3,000 miles away in San Francisco, the Golden State Warriors are drowning in a contract standoff with exactly the player Chicago desperately needs. Jonathan Kuminga, the athletic 6 feet 8 inches forward with untapped superstar potential, sits in restricted free agency limbo while his current team fumbles away one of their most valuable assets. This isn't just another offseason rumor or wishful thinking from Bulls fans. This represents a legitimate opportunity for Chicago to execute the kind of bold move that defines franchise trajectories. While other teams offer bigger contracts and flashier destinations, the Bulls possess something more valuable: the perfect opportunity for Kuminga to finally unleash his full potential in a system designed around his strengths. The irony is delicious. Golden State, the franchise that revolutionized modern basketball through smart roster construction, now finds itself trapped by their own success. They can't afford to pay Kuminga what he's worth, yet they can't afford to lose him for nothing. Chicago, meanwhile, has the flexibility and desperation to make the kind of offer that forces everyone's hand. Jonathan Kuminga's relationship with Golden State has devolved into basketball's most expensive soap opera. The Warriors initially offered a lowball 2-year, $45 million deal that insulted a player who averaged 16.1 points while shooting 52% from the field in his increased role last season. Their subsequent improvement to 3 years and $75.2 million still falls short of market value for a 22-year-old with all-star upside. The contract negotiations expose Golden State's fundamental miscalculation. They've treated Kuminga like a role player when he's clearly evolved into something much more significant. His athleticism, defensive versatility, and rapidly improving offensive skills make him the exact type of player that contending teams covet. Yet, the Warriors seem determined to either underpay him or watch him walk away. Kuminga holds the nuclear option, accepting his $7.9 million player option and hitting unrestricted free agency next summer. This scenario terrifies Golden State because it guarantees they lose him for nothing while limiting their ability to compete for another championship. The Warriors' championship window is closing rapidly, and losing a prime asset due to contract stubbornness could define their legacy transition from dynasty to also-ran. The psychological warfare between player and organization has reached a breaking point. Kuminga wants respect, recognition, and a role that showcases his abilities. Golden State wants championship-level production at developmental player prices. These incompatible desires create the perfect opportunity for a savvy organization like Chicago to swoop in and capitalize on others' dysfunction. The Bulls enter this situation with several competitive advantages that make them Kuminga's ideal destination. First, they possess the salary cap flexibility to offer him a contract commensurate with his abilities and potential. Second, they desperately need exactly what he provides: wing depth, defensive versatility, and transition scoring. Third, they can guarantee him the expanded role that Golden State has been reluctant to provide. Chicago's current forward situation reads like a cautionary tale about draft asset management. Patrick Williams and Isaac Okoro, both lottery picks from 2020, have failed to develop into the two-way contributors the Bulls envisioned. Williams shows flashes but lacks consistency, while Okoro provides defense but minimal offensive impact. Trading for Kuminga would essentially admit these draft picks haven't panned out while acquiring a superior alternative still in his prime developmental years. The fit with Billy Donovan's system appears seamless. Donovan loves pushing pace and creating transition opportunities, playing directly into Kuminga's greatest strengths. His athleticism and finishing ability in the open court could transform Chicago's offensive identity from methodical to dynamic. While his three-point shooting remains inconsistent, his ability to attack closeouts and create advantages through physicality fits perfectly with modern NBA trends. Josh Giddey's recent re-signing adds another layer of intrigue to this potential acquisition. The young point guard's playmaking vision combined with Kuminga's finishing ability could create one of the league's most exciting young combinations. Giddey needs athletic teammates who can convert his creative passes into easy baskets, while Kuminga thrives when surrounded by facilitators who understand his movement patterns. Pairing Kuminga with Isaac Okoro would create one of the Eastern Conference's most disruptive perimeter defensive combinations. Both players possess the size, athleticism, and instincts to switch across multiple positions while maintaining elite defensive principles. This versatility would allow Chicago to implement the kind of aggressive defensive schemes that separate playoff teams from play-in participants. The Bulls have consistently struggled defending elite wings throughout their recent playoff pushes. Adding Kuminga immediately addresses this weakness while providing the depth necessary to withstand injuries and foul trouble. His ability to guard positions 2 through 4 gives Donovan the flexibility to deploy unconventional lineups that create matchup advantages. Offensively, Kuminga's presence would force opponents to account for another legitimate scoring threat. His improvement from 16.1 points per game represents just the beginning of his offensive development. Given expanded opportunities and a defined role, he could easily average 18 to 20 points while providing the secondary scoring Chicago has lacked since trading away their previous core. The psychological impact cannot be understated either. Adding a player of Kuminga's caliber signals to the roster and fan base that management is serious about competing. After years of middling moves and developmental patience, acquiring proven young talent would demonstrate organizational commitment to winning now. Chicago's salary cap situation provides the flexibility necessary to absorb Kuminga's contract without compromising future roster construction. Unlike Golden State, which faces luxury tax penalties and second-apron restrictions, the Bulls can offer competitive money while maintaining financial health for future moves. The timing aligns perfectly with Chicago's competitive timeline. Their young core is entering prime development years, making this the ideal moment to add another high-upside player who can grow alongside existing talent. Waiting another year or two might mean missing the optimal window for such an acquisition. Kuminga's age profile fits Chicago's roster construction better than Golden State's veteran-heavy approach. At 22, he can develop alongside players like Giddey Kobe White and Mattis Buzelis while providing immediate contributions. This balance of present impact and future potential represents exactly what rebuilding teams should target in trades. A sign-and-trade scenario benefits all parties involved while addressing everyone's primary concerns. Golden State receives tangible assets. Rather than losing Kuminga for nothing, Chicago acquires their missing piece without gutting their roster. And Kuminga lands in a situation that maximizes his development and earning potential. The Bulls could offer a package centered around future draft picks and young players, providing Golden State with assets that fit their timeline better than expensive veterans. Chicago's willingness to take on Kuminga's full contract value would allow the Warriors to avoid luxury tax implications while maintaining competitive flexibility. This type of deal requires organizational courage from Chicago's front office. They must be willing to invest significant resources in a player who hasn't yet reached his ceiling while betting on their ability to develop his remaining potential. The risk is substantial, but the potential rewards far outweigh the downside scenarios. Acquiring Kuminga wouldn't just address Chicago's wing depth concerns, it would fundamentally alter their championship trajectory. The Bulls would suddenly possess the kind of athletic, versatile talent that defines modern playoff success. Combined with their existing young core, Kuminga could transform Chicago from Eastern Conference afterthought into legitimate contender. The Eastern Conference landscape supports such aggressive moves. With several traditional powers dealing with aging cores and salary cap constraints, this represents the perfect time for ascending teams to make bold acquisitions. Chicago could capitalize on others' limitations while positioning themselves for sustained success. Sometimes franchise-altering opportunities disguise themselves as other teams' problems. Golden State's contract standoff with Kuminga represents exactly such an opportunity for the Bulls. The question isn't whether Chicago should pursue this trade, It's whether they possess the vision and courage to recognize basketball destiny when it presents itself. Do you think the Bulls should go all in for Jonathan Kuminga? Or would this move represent too much risk for an unproven player? The fit seems perfect, but NBA trades are never as simple as they appear on paper. Share your thoughts on whether Chicago should exploit Golden State's dysfunction, and don't forget to hit that like button if you believe this could be the move that changes everything for the Bulls.